The quaint streets of Gloucester, England, masked a terrifying secret. By day it was a picturesque town with its cobblestone streets and historic charm, but by night a sinister shadow loomed over its serene facade. A seemingly ordinary couple, Fred and Rose West, harboured monstrous desires. They blended seamlessly into the community, their outward appearance betraying nothing of the horrors they concealed. Their crimes, unthinkable, depraved, monstrous, the kind of acts that defy comprehension and chill the soul. They turned their home into a house of horrors, a place where unspeakable acts were committed. For over 2 decades they preyed on the innocent, their victims young women and girls. 12 confirmed victims, 12 lives extinguished, 12 families left shattered. The community was left in shock, grappling with the magnitude of the West's atrocities. The true extent of their brutality may never be known. But one thing is certain, the horrors committed within the walls of 25 Cromwell Street will forever be etched in the annals of criminal history. The house itself became a symbol of pure evil, a place where innocence was lost and nightmares were born. This is the story of Fred and Rose West, the House of Horrors killers. Their names are now synonymous with terror, their legacy one of pain and suffering, a chilling reminder that evil can lurk beneath the most ordinary facade, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The West's story serves as a grim warning of the darkness that can hide behind closed doors. Their crimes shocked a nation. The revelations of their deeds sent ripples of fear and disbelief through the community and beyond, as people struggled to comprehend the depth of their depravity. The Wests were masters of deception, their seemingly normal lives a carefully constructed facade. They portrayed themselves as a loving family, all the while hiding their true nature from the world. Behind closed doors, a nightmare unfolded. The true horror of their actions was hidden from view, only to be revealed in the most shocking and tragic of ways. A nightmare that would haunt the world and leave an indelible scar on the hearts of those forever touched by the darkness they unleashed. The legacy of Fred and Rose West is a stark reminder of the evil that can exist in the most unexpected places. Fred West, the patriarch of this macabre family, was a man shaped by darkness. His life was a chilling tale of cruelty and malevolence, a story that began in the shadows and only grew darker with time. Born into poverty and neglect, his early life was a breeding ground for the evil that would later consume him. The squalor and deprivation of his childhood home were the perfect incubators for the monstrous tendencies that would define his existence. A history of violence, petty crime and sexual deviancy painted a disturbing picture. Each act of delinquency, each brush with the law, added another layer to the grotesque persona he was crafting. Fred's proclivity for brutality emerged early. Even as a young man, his actions were marked by a chilling lack of empathy and a disturbing enjoyment of others' pain. Animals were his first victims, their suffering a prelude to the horrors he would inflict on humans. The torment he inflicted on these helpless creatures was a dark foreshadowing of the atrocities to come. His own family wasn't spared his cruelty. The home, which should have been a sanctuary, became a place of terror and dread under his reign. Incest, abuse and manipulation were the tools he used to exert control. His family members were mere pawns in his twisted game, their lives shattered by his insatiable need for dominance. He craved power, dominance, the feeling of absolute control over another human being. This craving was not just a desire, but an obsession that consumed him entirely. This craving, twisted and perverse, would fester and grow, leading him down a path of unspeakable evil. Each step he took was a descent further into the abyss of his own making. The world, to Fred West, was simply a playground for his sadistic desires. Every corner of his life was tainted by his malevolence, leaving a legacy of horror that would haunt those who knew him. Rose Letts, later to become Rose West, was a willing accomplice in this reign of terror. Some might even say she was the driving force. Her own upbringing was marred by instability and abuse, leaving her emotionally scarred and vulnerable. Rose was drawn to Fred's darkness, finding in him a kindred spirit, someone who understood the twisted desires that lurked beneath her own facade. Their relationship, built on a foundation of depravity and control, would have devastating consequences. She was a master manipulator, using her charm and sexuality to lure unsuspecting victims into their web of horror. Rose was the spider, patiently weaving her web, and Fred the venomous predator lying in wait. Together they would unleash unimaginable terror upon the world. 25 Cromwell Street, an unassuming address in an ordinary town. But behind the curtains and beneath the floorboards, a house of horrors awaited. This seemingly normal, semi-detached home was transformed into a torture chamber, a place where nightmares became reality. The air inside was thick with the stench of decay and the unspoken horrors that permeated the very walls. Rooms were soundproofed, hiding the screams of the innocent. The garden, a burial ground for their victims, their bodies discarded like trash. Each floorboard creaked with secrets, each wall whispered tales of unimaginable suffering. 25 Cromwell Street was a testament to the depravity of the human soul, a chilling reminder that evil can lurk where we least expect it. Section 5. The Prey, Young, Vulnerable and Lost. The West's victims were primarily young women and girls, often runaways or those on the fringes of society. They were vulnerable, seeking solace and escape from their own troubled lives. The West's masters of deception offered them shelter and kindness, a cruel trick to lower them into a false sense of security. These were daughters, sisters, friends. Their lives cut tragically short, their potential forever unrealized. They became trophies in the West's twisted game, their suffering a source of amusement for the heartless predators. Their stories are a stark reminder of the fragility of life, of how easily trust can be betrayed, and of the importance of remembering and honoring those lost to such senseless acts of violence. Section 6. Methods of Madness, a web of manipulation and brutality. The West's modus operandi was a chilling blend of manipulation, domination, and unspeakable brutality. They would lure their victims with promises of a better life, offering them food, shelter, and a sense of belonging. Once trapped, the true horror of their situation became terrifyingly clear. Physical and sexual abuse were commonplace. The West's derived pleasure from inflicting pain, their cruelty knowing no bounds. They documented their crimes, taking photographs and making recordings, each one a testament to their depravity. Their victims were dehumanized, reduced to objects for their perverse pleasure. The level of violence escalated with each victim, the West's becoming bolder, their bloodlust insatiable. Section 7. Cracks in the facade, the beginning of the end. Years went by, and the West's reign of terror continued unabated. But even the most carefully constructed facades can crumble. Cracks began to appear as Fred's behavior became increasingly erratic, and Rose's control over him waned. Suspicions arose among neighbours and social workers. Whispers of strange occurrences at 25 Cromwell Street grew louder. The disappearances, once easily dismissed, now raised alarm bells. The net was closing in. The West's carefully constructed world of darkness was about to be shattered by the light of truth. Section 8. Justice, if you can call it that, trial and sentencing. In 1994, the nightmare finally ended. After years of evading justice, the West's reign of terror was finally brought to a halt. A police investigation, sparked by the disappearance of one of the West's own daughters, uncovered the gruesome truth. The investigation was thorough and relentless, leaving no stone unturned. The house at 25 Cromwell Street yielded its horrific secrets, revealing a scene of unimaginable depravity. The investigators were horrified by what they found, a house of horrors that shocked even the most seasoned officers. The trial of Fred and Rose West was a media sensation, the details of their crimes shocking the world. The courtroom was packed with journalists, all eager to report on the gruesome details of the case. Fred, facing a mountain of evidence and the prospect of spending the rest of his life behind bars, took his own life in prison. His suicide was seen by many as an escape from the justice he so richly deserved. Rose, maintaining her innocence throughout, was convicted of 10 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. Her demeanour in court was cold and unrepentant, a stark contrast to the gravity of her crimes. The world watched in horror and disgust as the true extent of their crimes was laid bare. The case left an indelible mark on the public consciousness, a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. Section 9, Legacy of Evil, a stain on our collective memory. The crimes of Fred and Rose West left an indelible stain on the collective memory of a nation. The house at 25 Cromwell Street, a symbol of unimaginable horror, was demolished, but the memories and the pain linger. Their legacy serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside within seemingly ordinary people. It highlights the importance of vigilance, of speaking up against suspected abuse, and of remembering the victims whose lives were tragically cut short. The story of the House of Horrors killers is a stark warning, a reminder that evil is not always easy to recognize, and that sometimes the most unassuming facades can hide the darkest of truths.